Oh, hey, my name's Aaron. Kind of making this just out of ambition, wanting to help all the struggling men out there that are going through rough times, dealing with insecurities, not really knowing what to do with their lives, the ones that are feeling lonely, feel like that there's not much to offer, like that they're trying to be the new age man in this world, but are constantly trying to figure out where they're at, what to do, how to overcome their insecurities, how to overcome all the different things that life are throwing at them. I've been there. I kind of know how you're dealing with and what it's like to be that kind of a introverted, shy kind of a type of guy. Not really making connections with people, not really having a whole bunch of lifelong friends and lots of good quality people around me. So the things that I'm learning and picking on up that I've been practicing myself and pushing myself for the last few days and last week, because I've had a lot going on. I'll make more trying to videos kind of describing my story and let you guys know a little bit about me and everything and the things that I've gone through recently and all through my life, and not using it as excuses, but just to kind of build perspective of that there's always positivity in this life. There's always something. So first off, with that insecurity and the loneliness feeling, you're never alone. You aren't. Like, you don't need somebody else's validation, somebody else's anything to feel good. You can do that all on your own. You alone are more than enough. Being alone isn't lonely. Taking pride in yourself, making sure that you're doing things to make you happy, to make yourself feel good, the things that bring you joy to yourself, is way above anything else. And that's where it starts. Once you can start mastering that, to be able to feel good about yourself, knowing that you are love, you're compassionate, you're strong. Being a man in this day and age, it's hard, it's tough. There's so much out there. There's so much that we're told we can and can't do. There's all different kinds of battles that we deal with every day that I don't think a whole lot of it gets shed on light. There's a lot of negativity around masculinity right now, which is warranted for all those kinds of guys, but there's real genuine good men out there, and they struggle probably harder than most because it's hard for them. I mean, there's ones that are cocky and stuff like that and arrogant, and they're not the good men. They're the toxic ones that are out there, and they should be put on the spotlight and blasted. So first, for your connections, that I think is a good tool to use is learn new things also. Try getting out of your comfort zone. Trying to do things and that you wouldn't normally think you would be into. You'd be surprised at the things like that come naturally to you, that are just connect, that make you feel good as a person. Second is the things that you do like, research them, go into them, dive, dig, music, food, tech, anything. Like, there's so much information on any subject these days. YouTube, anything. Like, there's just so much out there that you can know a lot in not that long of a time. You can teach yourself a lot, and then push that comfort level again. Bring it up in your work, bring it up with other friends that you have close to you, bring it up to people, get yourself involved. Like, make those conversations. Like, if you hear people talking and it's something that intrigues you, something that you're into, that you already know something about that subject, pitch in. Like, when there's an opening, say something. Like, get involved. You'll never know. Like, these people could, like, oh my goodness, like, this guy's awesome. Like, who is this dude? Like, and then they just want to be around you naturally. It's going to feel weird inside at first. It's going to feel different. It's going to make you a little uncomfortable, but that's the purpose. The more repetition, even faking it till you make it. Act like you're confident. Act like you're that kind of a guy. Like, be proud of what you love. Be proud of what you like, and connect that way. I've kind of written a whole bunch of it down. There's books, there's all that skills. Use that stuff in every tool we have. Like there's Bumble BFF, there's stuff like that now that where you can connect with people. There's group chats, Facebook, there's all different kinds of things where there's people with your interests out there. So if you are that lonely type, first master yourself, learn that you're not alone. You have you. You are good enough. You're plenty great. Like start working out, start doing things, eating right, things that will make you feel good as a person inside. That's step one. And then learning those things, diving into your passions, your likes, the things that make you happy and make you laugh, make you smile, all that kind of stuff. It helps. Second is that flip side. You probably do have people that are close to you or are friends, and some of them could be negative. Like that's another part of this, is you got to get out of that the toxic people. If you have friends and people that you or notice are quite negative all the time, they're always talking about other people that are at their jobs or at their work, or that you guys even know mutually. If they're always constantly gossiping, like every time you're around them, they're just negative and talking about other people, you owe that person nothing. And your time on this earth and your time to yourself is far too valuable, far too precious. You can't waste it. Like, and you're actually probably doing them way more good than not. Like, you owe it to yourself to not, like, you have to just be like, okay, bring it up, be humble, be compassionate, do it with love, don't do it malicious, but realize that you are who you hang around with. Like, you become the closest people to you. So if that is how it is, you're going to start mirroring them. You're going to notice that you start doing those things too. Like, that's just how life works. You start taking on those personality traits. And if you recognize that early enough, you can, before you're too invested in the friendship, even if you are that invested to where you know it's going to hurt and it's going to make you like sad, and you know they are going to hurt and that they're not going to understand, but you owe it to yourself. And those type of people, yeah, they'll probably fight you back. They'll probably start talking about you. And 9 times out of 10, if they're doing that around you every day constantly, and they're talking about those kind of people, and they're just doing that, they're doing it about you too. It doesn't stop when you're not around. So think of that. Like, that is, I would say 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, they're going to be doing that too. To you, about you. Like, they're going to be, when you're not around and they're in a different group social setting of people, they're going to talk about, yeah, I have this other friend and blah, 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 blah. And they're going to be talking about your secrets, stuff that only you know, that they know intimately about you. That's just how, that type of person they are. So recognize that. Get them out. Like, get them out completely. You don't owe them anything. Your time, I'm telling you, life isn't that long, and there's far too much to enjoy and far too much to do and see to let that kind of stuff just keep being around you. Letting those type of people just be around you. See them for what they are early, that they're just bitter, they have too much resentment or contempt or too much stuff that they are just pushing and projecting on the rest of the world, playing that victim mentality. And it usually sucks you in because you feel bad for that person. I know, because I've done that a little bit myself, and it, like, now looking back, I'm grateful. Like, wow, it's been a life journey. I'm 33, got 3 amazing kids, been about to be done with my second marriage, but I know that I've always done what's best for all the people around me. I've kind of lost myself in that process because I've always constantly thought that I needed the validation of the loved ones around me instead of loving and validating myself first. And it starts with you. Like, I know that I can't do that anymore, not for the people, but for myself. Like, it's not fair. It's not okay to myself to be that way. Like, that's just the way it is. I don't need these other people to tell me I'm not good enough or things like that. And when I've tried and I've done all these things, I've spent life savings that took me 9-10 years to build. I relocated to try to better my family, to get them out of a crappy environment in a crappy town because I didn't want it polluting my daughter's minds. Just different things that I've tried to always to put my family first. And you should, but at the same time, you've got to love yourself too. If you're not doing that self-care, that love to yourself, then it's only just going to become and make you more insecure, more worried. You're going to think that you need that to make yourself whole and complete when you don't. You need you. And you need you first and foremost above any family member, any friend. You need you. That's all it is just yourself. So connect with these people that you can. Find people that are positive, that are uplifting, that have a good view on life, that are out there not spreading negativity, that are out there just having fun. Find those common grounds, those common interests. Look up things that you can, that you love. Try a few new things that might intrigue you, that might go, that's different, but I think I might like that. Like things like that will get into you. They'll help you develop and just keep that positivity. Meditation, things like that, and if you need to go see somebody to talk, don't be afraid to do that. The stigma around men going to therapy is ridiculous. I've done it and it helps. And usually that's why these people go to school for that long and everything else. And that's why they're doing this, to help people like us, to help you overcome and see that, no, you're a good person. You might struggle, and there's hundreds out there, thousands, probably millions out there now that you don't want to even push the drugs on you anymore, that are just going to preach that mindfulness, preach that it's all inside, that you can overcome these things. There's little baby steps you can do, from like 5-10 minute meditations to your deep breathing cycles, to learning how to appreciate the moments and take everything in, and how to focus your brain on the present moment that you're in at that moment. Like, that's what it's about, being present to the situation, doing those deep breaths and exercise. Oh my goodness. I was never I tried gym a few times when I was starting to get bigger. I weighed like almost 245 pounds. I'm down to 180 now, 5'11". And I was never I did it for a little bit just to kind of lose those 5-10 pounds, make myself feel good for a moment. But I was never that type I don't want to be that kind of fitness dude. But just the couple months that I've been doing that and routinely working out, the way it makes your body feel from that blood flow and everything else pulsing through you is incredible. There's days I don't want to fucking go at all, but I just go. I've made that commitment to my inner self, to everything that I have. Being in shape is a great thing. Being physical and moving your body and pushing your limits is a good thing. It makes you feel good, especially as a man. You're like, holy shit. And the more you keep doing it, the more you do. And then you start taking care of everything else. Will just keep falling into place. And there's times where it sucks. There's times I still battle, where I'm constantly not constantly, but there's times where I'm like, oh, man, I don't know. And then I just keep going. It's okay to have those fears. It's okay to have those anger moments. It's okay to have insecurities, as long as you're not hurting, abusing, or trying to find an outlet with drugs, or abusing alcohol too much, or anything like that. As long as you're continuing to be a good person, that's all that matters too. Be kind to yourself first. Treat yourself great. Celebrate those minor victories every single day that you have with yourself. Appreciate them. Make them count. It will help you out so much in the long run. And I'll keep trying to make these. If you guys have questions or anything, or you just want to pick my brain a little bit, feel free. I'm going to make a few more next ones, just to kind of give people more on my background, who I am as a person, kind of my history, my past, the things that I've dealt with as a man and growing up, childhood stuff and everything else. But I wanted to make this first one for the struggling modern men out here, especially if you're a single father, or If you're just even a young man, just like feeling a little overwhelmed, it's okay. Like, it really is. Breathe. Start working out. Do the things that make you happy. And realize being alone is fun. And it can be fun. You have freedom. You have potential to do whatever you want. You don't need anybody else. You don't need that relationship. Friends will come in. The more you don't need them, the more you just realize who you are as a person and accept it, flaws and all, change the things that you want to change, that you need to change, and vision yourself as the best person you want to be, and just mold yourself into it. Fake it if you have to until it sinks and seeps in, because sometimes I still have to act. I still have to trick myself and just fake it. I still just have to be like, no, that doesn't bother me, when on my brain it's like, that bothers you, but on the inside I'm like, no, nope, it doesn't, and I'm not going to let it, and it'll just pass. You've got to commit. It takes time, and you'll slip up, but get right back on path, keep doing it, you'll be just fine. Like, I know if some of you are going through money issues, I am myself, but all that is temporary. As long as you keep grinding and working, the debts go down, they don't stay there forever. If you have to do the things you have to do to make yourself survive, do it. Do whatever it takes and just keep going. And you will keep gaining momentum, and things will just keep happening and falling in place. It's out there, and it will happen. So I hope, in closing, that there was someone out there that I was able to help today. And I look forward to talking to some of you. Again, my name's Aaron. Much love. Stay positive. Keep pushing yourself, grinding, and everything's going to be just fine. Love yourself. Take those moments. Appreciate all that life is. Every time you wake up, it's a gift. Appreciate it. Much love, people.